वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। We are going through Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 8th chapter. King Bharat, after he got the baby deer in the forest, he was attached to that, and therefore, in the absence of the deer, he would constantly worry about the deer. He was very deeply attached to this deer, and therefore, wherever he saw, he only saw the deer. That reminded him about the deer. In this manner, time passed by and death has come near him. Sri Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, we read the commentary wherein he says that even though Bharat was successful in giving up all his family members, his own children, which is very difficult to do, still he came in the forest and got attached to a deer as his own son. What else this could be other than his prarabdha karma? Sri Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says there are two kinds of prarabdha. One is shobhana and other is ashobhana. Shobhana means that brings welfare, which is desired by the Lord only, and which the devotees always accept as a mercy of the Lord. And ashobhana is that binds more and more in this material world, that brings good and bad results of a certain action. Whereas there is no bad reaction in the case of shobhana prarabdha. There is only good result, auspicious result. So, when the devotees who are put under this kind of a circumstance, a temporary fall down we may say, by Supreme Lord, it is the desire of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, and the devotees are not, they are considering this as a mercy of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. They are not getting infatuated or obsessed for being troubled or being, put into such challenging situations. They are thinking that, everything is mercy of Supreme Lord. They are seeing tatte anukampam. They are seeing everything is the Lord's mercy. When the Lord is showering mercy and the devotees are accepting it as the Lord's mercy, the intermittent people like us, who have not understood the relation between the Lord and his devotees, and how the Lord performs certain activities in order to give instructions to all of us. Not having a proper understanding of this, we commit offenses at the feet of the devotees. We think, oh, they are also affected by their karma, or we become very critical about a person. I already thought that this person will become like this. I had already seen this. But that is, the devotee who probably might have faced a temporary fall down. He is seeing that, oh, it is the Lord's mercy. I am, getting overly attached to a particular thing, and it is the Lord who had mercifully, brought me out of, in order to bring me out of such situation, He has mercifully put me in such circumstance or situation. But we, as an intermediate person, not having understood the devotee and the Lord's relationship, we commit offenses. Or we might think, oh, even for devotees there is prarabdha karma, then what is, the point in doing all this? Jnana is better, some other, why devotion is superior? We may get to such conclusions. But Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, don't understand this to be ordinary prarabdha, it is the shobhana prarabdha by the desire of the Lord. We will continue from verse number 27. Tadanim api parshvavattinam atmajam ivanu shochantamabhi vikshamaano mriga evabhiniveshitamana visrijya lokamimam saha mrigena kalevaram mritamanu na mrita janmanusmriti vitaravan mriga sharira mavapa. मृत्यु समयु तिनी देखिते पाइलेन जेनो सेई मृग शिशु ताहार निज पुत्रेर न्याय ताहार पार्श्वे बसिया शोक प्रकाश करितेछे. So death has come near Bharat. Even at the time of death, he was thinking as if the deer is sitting next to him and he is lamenting. Bharat was seeing that this deer is sitting next to him and lamenting due to Bharat's death. He was only able to say this. Tahar chitta mrigetei abhinivishta chilo. Therefore, his mind was completely absorbed in the deer only. He was only seeing the deer at the time of his death also. Therefore, his consciousness was completely absorbed in that. Sutrang tini prakrita bhagavad vimukha purusher न्याय मृगेर सहित ei संसार ओ मनुष्य देह परित्याग करिया परजन्मे मृगदेह प्राप्त होइलेन. Therefore, just like an ordinary living entity who is averse to Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, who thinks about material subject matters at the time of death, Bharat also thought of this deer only at the time of death. Sukadeva Goswami is telling that just like an ordinary person in the aversion of Supreme Lord is not thinking about the Lord, similarly Bharat also did not think about the Supreme Lord. And therefore, he attained the birth of a deer in his next life. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tvam tyajati ante kalevaram. Whatever one is, tam tam eveti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. Whatever one is thinking at the time of death. Tyajati ante kalevaram. At the time of death, whatever is there in whatever one is thinking, tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhava. Because he is constantly thinking about that, he will become that in his next life. Means whatever we think at the time of our death, we get a result accordingly, we get a birth accordingly. If one is constantly thinking about association with a woman at the time of death, he will be born as a woman in the next birth. Yes. If one is thinking about some other, he has attachment deeply to certain thing, then he will become that in the next birth. So the thing is, whatever one's mind is absorbed in, that will be the cause of our next birth. The Lord is not to be blamed here. Why the Lord gave me this birth? It is because you did like this. The Lord already told that whatever you think, you will become that. So there is no injustice in the Lord's court. It is we who have not acted according to what the Lord has told us. So finally, Bharat became a deer in his next birth. Bharater deha nashto hoilo, kintu tat paschat tahar purva janma anusmriti vinashto hoilo na. Even though his body was finished, his, remembrance about the past was not finished. Usually, for all of us, when we die, that is the end of all our knowledge and education, material knowledge, education, our life, everything, whatever we remember. He is our son, he is our grandson, she is my granddaughter, or this is my house. All this knowledge is finished the moment the body is dead, because they are not the possessions of Atma. They are not the possessions of the permanent object. They are the possessions of the temporary object. That is why after we take birth, let's say even as a human being in the next birth, our education begins from zero, not from where we stopped the previous birth. Up to 10th standard or 12th standard, high school I have passed, now I will begin from graduation. Is it possible? In the next birth? No. You have to begin from ABCD and then you have to progress, because these are all the accumulations or possessions of the body, which is temporary. But that which has been, earned for Atma, that will stay with Atma. Bharat was greatly fortunate that he could remember his past life, even though he was born, even though he left his current body and, took birth as a deer. That is why the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written in the previous commentary that it is by the will of the Lord that Bharat had fallen down temporarily. He is remembering his past life. Is that a boon? Yes, that is a boon for him. That, I did this mistake in the past, I shall not be doing it. So his devotion will be intensified. You see, certain times circumstances are our greatest teachers. Gurudev repeatedly tells, do this, do this, do this, do this, but we don't realize the importance of that particular instruction. We don't realize it. But suddenly we are put into a certain situation wherein we will realize the importance of that particular teaching. Why Guru Maharaj has given this instruction to me? Then, after that realization, we will act accordingly on that particular instruction with more seriousness. In a similar manner, the Lord is putting Bharat in such a situation which may apparently seem to be his fall down from a human birth to a deer birth. Still he had the remembrance of the past. Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in the commentary, Anushocantam mrigam, अनुशोचनाकारी मृग के अर्थात मृत्यु काले तिनी देखिलेन हिरण्य शिशुटी पुत्रेर न्याय पार्श्वे थाकिया शोक करतेछे. Because he was constantly thinking about the deer at the time of death, when he was dying, he felt the deer was sitting next to him as if a son would sit and lament. The child, when he sees that father or mother is dying, he or she, the daughter or the son, sits next to the, the parent, and he or she is lamenting. Oh, not these days parents, children, but I'm talking about the past. Now, in a similar manner, because Bharat was constantly thinking about the deer, he felt as if the deer was sitting next to him in lamentation. Lokam मृगेर सहित निज देह के परित्याग करिया मृग देह ही प्राप्त होइलेन. Not only has he left his body, he also had to leave the deer in that birth. Isn't it? He got the deer only in that birth. So, death is the end point of everything. Mrityu sarva harascha aham. The Lord is telling. Mrityu sarva, in the form of death, sarva harascha aham. I take away everything. Everything in the form of death. Nothing remains with us. Whatever we think that these are my possessions, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine, everything is finished, mrityu, in the form of death. So here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is telling, not only he left his own body, he also left the deer. Obviously, because that was the association with the body he had got. Kalevaram mritam anu namrita tahar purvadeho binashto hoileu purvajanyavar sthiti nashto hoilona. Even though he lost his previous body, he did not lose the memory of his previous activities. Itaravat, itara bolite prakrita karmi tahar nyay. Just like an ordinary living entity is, deluded at the time of death, or he is completely, in illusion that, oh, I have to leave my body, I have to leave this family, I have to leave this house. He is constantly thinking about, that is why death is very painful. Why death is so painful? It is so painful because of the attachment. Not because the bodily pain is there. There may be some bodily pain also due to some severe illness or sickness, but more painful is the severance of the attachment. When we are overly attached to something, and when there is a separation from that, then that pain is very, very difficult to tolerate. So here, he, just like an ordinary karmi, he was also thinking about the deer. Kintu Maharaj Bharat कर्मातीत छिलेन এই নিমিত্তেই তাহার প্রারব্ধ কর্মের অভাব পূর্বশ্লোকে সমর্থিত হইয়াছে. But King Bharat was beyond karma. As said in the previous verse, his activities were not on the karmic platform. We have to understand that even though Jada Bharat was thinking about the deer all these days, he has given up the material, spiritual duties, devotional duties. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is telling that even though he behaved like an ordinary karmi, fruitive activist, still his activities were not on the karma platform, on a material platform, as previously explained in the previous verse. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is telling. So we have to understand that this temporary, fall down from the devotional activities of Bharat is not like any other karmis fall down. This is very, very important point that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is repeatedly telling in various verses. In the very beginning of the narration, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur had told that in order to intensify the devotional mood of Bharat, the Lord had willfully or purposefully put him into such situation. This is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur had said at the very beginning, so that we don't become offensive to Bharat Maharaj. Here the teaching that Guru Maharaj often he used to give is that, King Bharat, who had given up everything and had come to the forest to perform Hari Bhajan, he got attached to a deer, due to which he had fallen down. What to speak of ordinary people like us? A devotee like Bharat, who was performing so many devotional activities, he had fallen down. What to speak of living entities, ordinary living entities like us? So when he said this, Guru Maharaj used to say that this is an instruction that the Lord is giving through Bharat Maharaj. He attained the deer's body. There is no guarantee that we will attain the human birth again. This is the instruction from this. And there is no guarantee that we will remember our past birth like Bharat did. Bharat was very fortunate, or rather he was a devotee, because of which he could remember his past life. But how many of us will be fortunate to get a human birth or any birth where we will remember our past? Every time we are postponing devotion. No, this life, let me continue like this. I am accumulating devotion so that next birth I can do devotion more. Because devotion is never destroyed. We heard this. So I am not able to, dedicate myself completely and fully follow Gurudev's instructions. Let me do whatever is possible. It will get accumulated. Next birth, I will do full swing bhajan. Excuse. We are giving excuse. Every birth we are giving excuse like this only. Let me, finish this lifetime. Next lifetime I will do bhajan. Let me enjoy this. This is an excuse that we have been giving from time immemorial. That will never come. Tatrapi ha va atmano mrigatva karanam bhagavad aradhana samihanu bhavenan anusmritya bhrisham anutapyamana aha ataiva से ही मृगजन्मेउ पूर्वजन्मजात भगवद आराधनार अनुष्ठान प्रभावे तिनि स्वीय मृगत्व प्राप्तिर कारण अर्थात पूर्वजन्मेर मृगाशक्ति रूप हरि वैमुख्य के स्मरण करिया बारंबार अनुताप करते करते मने मने कहिते लागिलेन. Therefore, because he had remembrance of the past life in his birth as a deer, he could remember how, due to his attachment to the deer, or due to his forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord, how he had fallen down to this deer body. He was constantly, repenting for that, and he was within the mind, he was talking to himself like this. Means he was repenting. See, repenting for any bad activity is also a form of a devotion. We should be repentful of our any bad deeds. Repentance is a kind of atonement. We don't have to atone literally, but repenting for whatever we have done. Oh, I have done this mistake. I have again fallen down from my position of, let's say, chanting so many rounds or doing this in my day, whatever. We should be repentful. If we are not repentful of bad activities, illicit activities, then we cannot make progress in Hari Bhajan. Anutapa. The repentance for our bad activities is very, very essential in the progress of Hari Bhajan. So here he became repeatedly repentful that, I have become forgetful of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. I had become forgetful of Krishna, due to which I am here. And then he was thinking within his mind like this: Aho kashtam brashto aham atmavatam manupathad yad vimukta samasta sangasya vivikta punyaranya शरणस्यात्मवत् आत्मनि सर्वेषाम् आत्मानं भगवति वासुदेवे तद अनुश्रवण मननसं कीर्तन आराधनान स्मरणान अभियोगेन शून्य सकल यामेन कालेन समावेशितं समाहितं कार्त्स्न्येन मनस्तत् तु पुनर्ममावुध स्यारान् मृग सुतमनु सुश्राव। हाय की कष्ट आमी धीरजनेर पथ हईते विच्युत हইয়াছি। What a pity on me that I have deviated from the path of the devotees. He is repentful and he is he is regretting within his own mind like this. What a troublesome situation I have fallen in. I have become forgetful of the path of the devotees. कारण आमी स्त्री पुत्रादिर संग परित्याग करिया निर्जन पुण्यारण्ये आश्रय ग्रहण पूर्वक जितेंद्रिय हইয়াছিলাম। Because I had given up my wife and children, my kingdom, I have entered into a forest to perform bhajan in solitude. I became completely free from the attachment of sense organs. Means I controlled my sense organs. एवं सर्वजीवेर आत्मस्वरूप भगवान वासुदेवेर विषय श्रवण मनन संकीर्तन आराधन व अनुस्मरणादि भक्त्यंग अभिनिवेश द्वारा जाम सकलेर सफलता संपादन पूर्वक बहुदिन अतिवाहित करिया चित्त के ताहतेई सम्यक रूपे स्थापित व सुस्थिर करियाছিলাম। And then also I was constantly hearing, remembering, speaking the Supreme Lord, about the glories of Supreme Lord, and I was worshipping Him, I was meditating upon Him. By this, in this manner, I was spending my time by completely becoming absorbed in the various devotional activities or various limbs of devotion. I was spending my time so nicely in devotion. Tahatei samyak rupe sthapito o susthira koriyachilam. I could control my mind. I could fix my mind completely in the devotional activities. Kintu punaray sei manai मृग बालके अभिनिविष्ट हইয়া ताहा হইতে अति दूरे निश्रित হইয়া পড়িয়াছে। And again, due to that mind only, I have controlled the mind by thinking, by speaking, by meditating, by hearing the glories of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, by worshipping Him, by engaging my mind constantly in His remembrance. I engaged my mind. But again, the very mind has brought me to the absorption of a deer. Because the mind is the cause of liberation, the mind is also the cause of bondage. It is the mind that is the cause of bondage and liberation. Material objects, material persons per se, they are not the reason for our bondage. Our mind is the cause of our bondage. And similarly, the mind is also the cause of liberation. He is telling that in spite of doing all this, I have given up my family, etc. In spite of doing all this, again that mind only has got attached to the baby deer, and ultimately the mind has drowned me very, very far away from devotion. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in the commentary, Atmavatah Dhira Arthat Jitendriya Amar. I was having control over my own senses. I became Jitendriya. Atmanam Atmani Sakala Jiverjini Atma Arthat Paramatma Bhagavan Vasudev Tahate Tad Anushravana Ityadi Tad Vishaye Anukshan Shravanadir Je Abhiyog Bolite अभिग्रहण अर्थात अभिनिवेश ताहार द्वारा समाहितो जेमन my mind was completely absorbed in meditating upon the glories of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. I was constantly, absorbed. My mind was constantly absorbed in his, meditation. Taha sushrava adah patita hoilo. But now that very mind had fallen down. Because of the mind only, I had fallen down. अर्थात আমার সেই চিত্ত ভগবানের আশ্রয় হইতে বিচ্যুত হইয়া অতি দূরে চলিয়া আসিয়াছে. My mind therefore has become, got separated from the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, and due to which I had fallen down very, very far away from the Supreme Lord. So he is, regretful of his past life. He is, so much in grief for whatever he has done. We have fallen down from the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, and due to which the various sufferings have, enveloped us. Maya has enveloped us, and we are put into repeated suffering. But very intelligent are those who are able to understand this. King Bharat could immediately realize that it is due to my past, misdeeds or bad absorption that today is my state, and therefore he immediately acted upon it.
At what stage did this happen? Before he was a deer? Or?
No, after he became a deer. He already became a deer.
Now he's lamenting.
Yeah, now he is lamenting.
He didn't lament when
No, he died.
Oh, he's dead now.
Yes. He is dead, and now he is in the new birth as a deer, and now he is constantly lamenting for, for whatever he had done in the past.
But Maharaj, he never lamented.
No. He was absorbed and then he died. इत्येवं निगूढ़ निर्वेदो विसृज्य मृगिं मातरं पुनर्भवत् क्षेत्रम् उपशमशील मुनिगण दयितं शालग्रामं पुलस्त्य पुलहाश्रमं कालंजरात् प्रत्याजगाम. এই প্রকারে মৃগত্ব প্রাপ্ত সেই ভরতের মনে নির্বেদ উপস্থিত হইল. So in this manner, while constantly lamenting and being regretful for whatever he had done in the past life, he became completely detached in this birth. He had no attachment to anything. He became indifferent to all material happinesses and distresses. किंतु तिनी तहा अप्रकाशित राखिया स्वीय मृगी माता के परित्याग पूर्वक जे कलंजर पर्वते मृगरूपे जन्मग्रहण करियाছিলেন সেই पर्वत হইতে उपशमशील मुनिगण प्रिय शालग्रामाख्य भगवत क्षेत्र पुलस्त्य पुलहाश्रमे प्रत्यागमन करिलेन. And becoming indifferent, he became indifferent to everyone and everything, all material things, but he did not express it to anyone. He as a deer, he kept it to himself. He did not express his indifference to material things, but what he did was, he left his mother in the next birth, the deer mother who gave birth to him, the mother deer. They were living in Karanja Parvata. There is a mountain by the name Karanja where he was born. He gave up the mother and his motherland because he immediately became, repentful of what he had done in the past. He left and he came to the ashrama of the great sadhus who were living in Pulaha ashrama and Pulastya ashrama. There is various ashramas, Pulaha ashram and Pulastya ashram, where the rishis were living. He came there. This is Shaligramakhya, and it's Shaligrama. It's a place is Shaligram. Shaligram means shala trees. What is shal in English? The tree shal. I don't know. I have to see what is shal called in English. Huh? No. It is the wood. The door frames are made out of shal wood. I don't know what is it called in English, you know. So there are big trees. The shala trees are very big, huge. So in that particular forest, this Pulahashram and Pulastyashram are there. He went and stayed there in the company of the sadhus. So in the, I think few days ago you asked that is it that he, after he became a deer, after several days he realized and then he went to the ashram. Here it is mentioned that after he got the deer birth, he immediately realized and went to this Pulahashram. So you asked this question, right, few days ago. So this is the answer to it, that he left the mother and everything. Not that he had suffered some, pains or miseries because of, becoming forgetful of God or due to bad karma. There was no karma that bound him. That's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has already told, that there is no karma that has bound him. Therefore, he had not to undergo any kind of suffering or wastage of time. He took birth, he left the mother and joined the rishis and munis. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in the commentary, Kalanjarat je parvate mrigarupe janma grahan korilen sei Karanjar namak parvat hoite. So he left the Karanjara mountain where he took birth. Shalagramam Shala vrikshopalixito Shalagram namak grame Pulastya Pulahashrame mrigi rupe Bharat pratyagaman korilen. So he came to the house, to the ashram of the rishis and munis in Pulahashram and Pulastyashrama, which is in the forest of the shala trees. Tasmin api kalam pratikshamanaha sangacha brisha mudvigna atma sahacharaha shushkarna virudha vartamano mrigatva nimittav sanameva ganayan mriga shariram tirthodaka krishnam utsarja Devarshi Bharat, Rajarshi Bharat sei ashrame punaraय sangadosha bhaye udvigna hoya shushka patra trina latadi ahar purvak ekaki avasthan koriya mriga dehavsan kal pratiksha kurite laglen. So Rajarshi Bharat, the best among the kings, Bharat, who became a deer now, he was now very much afraid of any bad association. He was very focused now. Once we, commit a mistake, once we learn out of, some bad action, then we become very, alert. So Bharat, in the form of a deer, has become very alert now and very focused that no bad association should again bring him down in the next birth. So thinking like this, he was staying alone, not meeting with other deers, meeting with them, talking with them and exchanging love. No, he was not doing. He was only staying alone, eating some dry grass or dry leaves, whatever had fallen on the ground. He used to eat them, and he was waiting eagerly for his death. In his birth as deer, he was eagerly waiting for his death to come. Anantar mrigasakti janna doshavasana kal upasthit hoya che. And slowly the time has come where his, the mistake of his forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord has come to an end. Means the time span for which he had to be in the deer body has come to an end. Vivechana Kuriya Tatratya Tirthodake Swiya Kalavarer Ardhansho Nimarjita Kuriya O Imriga Sharir Parityak Kurlen. Thinking that my time to give up this body has come, he went into the Tirtha, the water body, which is the holy waters where the rishis and munis are taking bath and they are doing their morning, rituals, etc. In that holy waters, he half drowned himself and he left his body in that holy waters as a deer also.
That means he committed suicide?
No. He waited. Yes, he waited till the defect for his forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord, the time period is not finished. Means you can say one kind of, before the death came, he waited for the death to come.
In the water.
Yes.
But they realized, they're going to realize that because of.
Yes, he realized. That's why he realized. That is why he didn't waste his time. He didn't meet with other, deers or anyone. He just waited for the death to come, and then with half submerging himself in the water, he waited for the death to come. Means like a rishi muni, performing
They
penance.
know when they're going to
Yes, yes.
But the name of this holy river we don't know.
No. It is the Pulhashram. It must be the Gandaki that we previously heard, the Gandaki river. इति श्रीमद् भागवते महापुराणे ब्रह्मसूत्र भाष्ये पारमहंस्यां संहितायां वैयासक्यां पंचम स्कंदे आदि भरत चरिते अष्टमोध्यायः. So thus ends the 8th chapter in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where the first Bharat's life is narrated. So we are going to read about the second Bharat now from tomorrow, that is Jhada Bharat, the Brahman Bharat. Previously he was King Bharat, and now he is going to be Brahman Bharat. So we are going to read about his life from tomorrow.
Now you're saying that, maybe this is a silly question, you're saying that the baby deer left the mother immediately, but then how would he grow? He needs the milk of the breast of the mother deer.
Yes.
He didn't stay to suck the breast of the mother?
Yeah. No, mother dead immediately, right?
No, when he took Jabara to
Okay. Just like the previous deer, he also lost the mother by eating grass. He was there, so he was also probably doing like that.
So he didn't even care to let me grow a bit and be strong.
No, I don't think so.
You think he would think, let me become a little bit, fatty, strong.
No. Jivana samapti kale karibo bhajana tava ebene bhavibe kakhano vigyajan. We already heard this previously, that an intelligent person never postpones devotion for some other day. That, let me finish this job first.
Or let me get healthy.
Yes, let me get healthy and then do bhajan. Or no, a devotee will never postpone devotion for a futuristic date. Now, I have only now in my hands. I don't have the next moment also in my hands, isn't it? We don't have the next moment also. Because when we will die, we don't know. Not today. Any moment. At any moment. Therefore, the wise persons, they are aware of this. That's why they don't waste any time. वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग गांधर्विका गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन पंचतत्वात्मक श्री गौर हरि की जय. परमाराधितम पतित पावन स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति वल्लभ तीर्थ गोस्वामी श्री गुरु महाराज की जय. नित्य लीला प्रविष्टोम विष्णुपाद प्रवंश स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति दयित माधव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय. जगत गुरु श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय. श्री श्री रूपानुग गुरु वर्ग की जय. श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ षड गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय. श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. सपरिकर श्री राधा मदन मोहन श्री राधा गोविंद श्री राधा गोपीनाथ जीव की जय. जय श्री राजा भरत की जय. जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय. श्री कृष्ण द्वैपायन वेदव्यास महामुनि की जय. श्रीमद् भागवत श्रवणकारी भक्तवृंद की जय. श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल.
Verse number 26.